Hi, welcome to My Thoughts Exactly. My name is Paul Burriel, and these are my thoughts exactly. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about music. Now, I have a pretty intense relationship with music. I play guitar a little bit, not well, a little bit. I play the bass quite well. I have a couple nice Fender basses, electric basses. I write songs. I write mostly lyrics, so I know song structure. I've toured with bands for a number of years off and on. So music is important to me. Most guys my age, when you talk to them, they're going to say, oh, nobody makes good music anymore. You young kids, your music sucks. I'm going to tell you this, and this is a fact. This is a fact. It's one of those facts that sounds like an opinion, but it's a fact. There's never been a time in this country that someone wasn't making good music. There's never been a generation that didn't have somebody making good music. Doesn't exist. Now, I'm not a big fan of country music. I like a couple artists. I'm not a big fan of rap. I like a couple artists. But I'm here to tell you that every single genre has at least one or two or three artists that are awesome. And there's never been a generation that didn't make good music. You have to go out and look for it. Sometimes you have to go out and look for it because radio is so completely programmed so they can teach you what you want rather than you find what you want. It's difficult to seek out new bands. Streaming services. Spotify has themes. Amazon, which I use Spotify for my True Crime podcast. Amazon has albums, which is awesome, which is great because you can listen to the whole album. But weirdly, they don't have certain albums you would think they would have, but they have other albums that you wouldn't think they'd have. So one of the things that's so important about music, and I've been writing about this and collecting ideas about this, the greatest moments in our lives are tied to music. The greatest things that we do, our greatest achievements, usually have music. You know, you have music at a wedding. You have music at a funeral. You have music at a birthday. You have music at a graduation. Music is such an integral part of our lives. You know, Nietzsche once said, without music, life would be a mistake. And that is easily the understatement of the history of mankind. And I'm not saying everybody has to learn an instrument. When I was a little kid back in the 100 years ago during the Civil War, my mom used to play the folk guitar, Puff the Magic Dragon. And they would show up to parties. My mom and dad would show up to parties. And my dad would go either on the back porch or the kitchen. He'd light a cigarette, he'd make a drink, and he would talk about things. And my mom would sit in the other end of the room or the other end of the house or the front porch or the back porch or wherever. And she would strum and they would sing, you know, folk songs. And that was the 1960s. And they would come to my house. I remember my mom was always having parties. And they would have these crazy sing-alongs. And you would see old guys and young guys and black people and 90-year-old women who were about 3 feet tall, and they'd all be singing, you know. Maybe John Denver, maybe Peter, Paul, and Mary, you know. And when I hear those songs now, I'm catapulted right back to 1969, you know, sitting on the couch when I should have gone to bed, watching these people singing and sharing music. There's my little old mom right in the middle strumming away. And I knew even as a kid, music was going to be such an important part of my life. Later on, I can remember playing in the backyard and cranking up the Beatles, you know, this new band, the Beatles. And the neighbors were like, hey, turn that down, we're old, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's the Beatles. And we would dance our little asses off out there. And in the summertime, we'd have the hose or the sprinkler, and getting cooled off, or jamming to the Beatles. And now, as an old man, when I get a chance and I hear an old Beatles song, no matter how bad life is, no matter what I'm going through, I'm transported back to 1968. I got no car payment. I got no mortgage payment. I don't got to get up at 7 in the morning and go deal with the problems of 750 other people. I got to ride my bike and eat bananas and chocolate milk. And that's what music does. See, now music now, you're building your next volume of memories. So find the new music, you know. Find new sounds. Find bands that you can get in touch with. And I don't mean cover bands, although there's a great place for cover bands. I love cover bands if they're good. I'm saying find new artists who are creating exciting music and start to use that to be the music of your memories. Start using the music that is coming out now. Attach it to this time and make it yours. Make it singularly yours. In a couple of days, me and Marilyn are going to hop in a car. We're going to drive to Canada. I'm hoping to mostly listen to Here Comes the Mummies. Now you're saying to yourself, what? Here comes the what? Sorry, I had to do that. And if I could edit, I would edit that part out. But other parts of this thing are too good to give up, so you'll get it. It's just an old guy who's not as funny as he thinks he is, but he can't stop thinking he's funny. Anyway, recently at a wrestling show, I overheard these guys talking about a band, and the band was Here Comes the Mummies. So I got home that night, I popped on the old Amazon, and I looked up Here Comes the Mummies, and they are awesome. They're funk, they're clean, they're tight, they're humorous. They're literally dressed like mummies, but they're playing funk that doesn't take any prisoners, right? They put the humor in the funk and the funk in the humor, and they are definitely an amazing group of people making amazing music. So I've never been in Canada, and Marilyn has never been to Motown. So we're going to do this trip. Now, you would think we would play Motown on the way to Motown. You would be wrong, and here's why. I have my memories associated with Motown. I have a lot of memories associated with Motown. I've been to Motown Museum twice. I have a ton of memories associated with Motown. She has her own memories associated with Motown. We want to make memories together. We want to tie them to something unique and new and fresh and original that is only for us, and that is Here Comes the Mummies. And now, 5 years from now, when Marilyn and I are looking back on this trip, I pop in Here Comes the Mummies music, and we're transported back to this trip. I'm going to tell you this one more time. There has never been a generation that didn't create amazing music. There's never been a time in our world's history that there wasn't people making good music. You got to seek it out. If you seek it, you will find it. If you ask it, it'll be given to you. In the meantime, let me just remind you, stay hydrated, stay cool. We got a heat wave coming. Stay inside, put on the ish condish, don't go outside. Stay cool, stay hydrated, don't be a dick.